right, and we are getting a first look inside the new Obama Presidential Center, which officially opens its doors on Juneteenth, right, June 19th. The $850 million center is more than 19 acres, and it's located on Chicago's South Side. It covers both the political and personal realms of the former president, features a new public library, an NBA regulation-sized basketball court, a playground, a garden, and an auditorium. CBS News national correspondent Lana Zak had the chance to tour the library last weekend and joins us with more. So, Lana, let's just start broad. What were some of your takeaways?
You know, it's so interesting to go to a museum of recent history that you lived. I had covered these campaigns, and immediately when you go in there, it feels like you are transported back in time. And so to experience that and to experience all the ways in which you felt different in that moment, the museum it does a very good job of tapping into that. And I brought along my children, and the twins were young little toddlers running around at times at the White House as I was covering the administration. And my son was in my belly at one point. And to tell them about this history, that they were there in different ways for parts of this, it was really interesting and such an immersive experience. In particular, my kids really enjoyed looking at the dioramas and how it sort of pulls you into the White House experience. They enjoyed looking at Michelle Obama's dresses. And then really so many of the people in the museum love that experience, and they actually queued up to go into the replica of the Oval Office and to sit behind the Resolute desk, not the actual one, but a replica, obviously, and have their pictures taken and feel like they are part of that moment in history and part of that administration. It was really a very interesting experience. And from the exterior of the building, you don't necessarily know what to think because it's an imposing structure that just sort of it juts out of this wide open 19 acres of space. And it has quotes printed on the side, and there are no real windows except for this one big one, and so you don't really know what to expect until you walk in there, and then really you're transported back.
The museum is on the south side of Chicago. Why was that location important?
Well, that if you've followed President Obama, you know how important Chicago is to him, how that was his adopted town. And we actually heard from Valerie Jarrett, who served as an advisor to the president and also is the CEO of the foundation. So take a listen.
He didn't want it to be simply a time capsule of his time in office. He wanted it to be a living, breathing, engaging location where people from across the street or around the world would feel welcome, would feel safe, would feel engaged, inspired, and motivated to bring about change in their own lives. And he wanted to do that through storytelling, because as you know, he's a big storyteller. And he believes fundamentally that ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
And for ordinary people and the people across the street, there were lots of folks who were invited in this early sneak preview to come take a listen or come take a look. So take a listen to what one resident had to say.
I think it was intentional for him to really give a love song, to the community that raised him and allowed him to be a community organizer. So I think it's profoundly impactful to have it here.
And you hear about democracy, and at the very end, as you're leaving, you see an Obama quote, perhaps his most famous: "I'm asking you to believe not in my ability to bring about change, but yours." And that's the empowering message that you leave with as you leave the center.
Well said. Lana Zak, thank you so much for bringing that to us.